Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS. Now it's real time, sponsored by the Mill Casino.
Well, as y'all know, today is the 6th of April. For all of us that spend time below Bonneville chasing spring Chinook, it's been interesting, if not horrible, so far this season, right? Well, right now we're going to join Bill Monroe Jr. from Bill Monroe Outdoors. He's actually on the water this morning with clients chasing spring Chinook in the beautiful Oregon spring Chinook weather. Bill, first off, thanks for spending a few minutes with us, man. We appreciate it.
Well, let's talk about this.
Looks like you guys are all having a fun, warm, dry day.
Look at how happy everybody is. We're all so happy. It's not even funny.
Well, first things first, Ben,
take my hat off.
how's the bite? Anything happening?
Well, let's see. We just had a bite.
Hey, look at you.
One bite. I'm feeling really good. You know what happened, though? We got a bite, and it took it down, and then it took it down again, let go, and then 20 seconds later, I'm not even kidding, I turned around, I was like, I'm going to go get that fish. A sea lion popped up right in front of me and thrashed it right in front of me. Chased it on the surface of the water and just, that's the only fish in like the area, I feel like.
Oh my goodness. How's the crowd down there, Bill? Is there a lot of boats around? Are you guys kind of quiet?
No, it's chill. Very, very, very few boats. I'm in the lower river, as you know.
Yeah.
Below Longview, the whole big stretch of the lower river, what I like to call it.
Sure.
And there's seals, sea lions, smelt. It's still here right now.
Wow.
It's April 6th.
Which is crazy late, which is certainly a reason why the fishing has been so poor on the Columbia main stem, of course. Bill, there is a meeting that is planned for this week coming up. What can we kind of expect there? What are your thoughts, I guess, going into that?
We are going to shut down as planned at the end of the day today at 11:59 p.m.
Sure.
Can't really fit. But they're going to take a look at it. They're really busy with PFMC and North of Falcon. We did North of Falcon on Wednesday to come up with some models to potentially look at what it's going to look like for, Astoria and the ocean. And then they are so inundated with that they don't really have quite enough information yet to put together to get a good, accurate meeting before Wednesday. So Wednesday, they said they'll look, and hopefully maybe we can go back in Thursday through Sunday, which is 9, 10, 11, 12, or 10, 11, 12, 13, more like it. And then that's probably going to be the model of what they do going forward. They're going to give it 4 days, shut it down, put together the creel and all of the Bonneville Dam, look at the 10-year averages, see where they are, and if there's still room on a 4,000 mortalities, then they'll reopen it again. So this is just going to rinse and repeat and rinse and repeat, and we're just going to keep going until something happens. Either the fish are going to be late, or the contents in their stomach are going to digest, and then they're going to start doing things. That's all I know. That's all we got. There was one fish, by the way, that was checked in a while ago. It had 31 baits in its stomach.
Wow.
17 needlefish and 12 or 13 smelt.
Good night.
What are you going to do with that? What are you going to do with that? They're not going to eat a herring. They don't have room.
They're obviously full if they're like that. Bill, kind of piggybacking onto that, when they are so full of food, they don't actually make that move up the river. They haven't quite gotten to that point where they're going to go, we got to go. They're just laying around.
They don't need to do a thing. They don't need to do a thing. Springers are notorious for not needing to do anything, and then all of a sudden, boom, they're here and they're doing stuff, or they don't spawn until August.
Right.
So they're not gonna cross the Bonneville Dam anyways.
Right. Do you feel like that there are fish in the river to be had, but they're just not biting, or do you feel that there just aren't any fish in the river?
Man, that's putting me on the spot, dude.
I know.
I'm gonna go with, I'm not sure there's enough fish in the river for this to be of the greatest opportunity right now. But they are here. I mean, there's 3 fish a day on the average being checked in for Westport, there's 3 fish a day on average being checked in at Rainier. St. Helens and, I-5 and 205, they're all checking in like 1 or 2. I mean, we've seen Shane catch a couple to stay above the smelt or above dirty water. That was a thing. And now it's just not progressing. We are still real close to the 10-year average, though. That's the good news.
True.
The bad news is that the 10-year average has become a thing of the past off of what we're trying to judge fish on.
Sure.
When you look at the 20 or 30-year, there's no more fishing at Bonneville Dam, back bouncing eggs, in the prime time of April.
No. And, it was just a handful of years ago that we were able to fish springers in May. Do you foresee that being an option or something that could happen this year with it being so late?
That's the good news. They could just say, hey, hold off. We're going to chill for a minute. And then they'll be like, we may fish on the back end of the run. The dangerous part of that is that once fish are up and over the dam, they're gone for the lower river. Oh.
Right.
And once they go, they go. That will be a tough gig. I don't know. It might be possible.
Well, yeah. Obviously, we always have to have in our minds the folks that live above Bonneville, the options that they have available to them as well.
Yeah.
And they have just as much right to get them as we do below the Bonneville. But you got to understand, the largest fleet of anglers is below Bonneville by a landslide. So there's the reason why there's a concern.
Without doubt, that is absolutely true. Zones 1 through 5 are the brunt of the fishery.
Correct.
Any fishery, actually.
So some of the questions that we've been getting since we announced that we were going to have you on the show today to kind of talk about this, Bill, was how they're going to come up with a number of fish that have actually been retained. Has that number even been mentioned? And what does that process look like?
Well, the number of an approximation of what they're at now is less than 500.
Oh.
Yep. That's nothing. That's like 10% of where we need to be. Now that could change every day. Like I said, it could just boom, explode, and you're going to start seeing catches, like crazy. I don't foresee that. The one thing I did see is that the pilot run was bigger than last year's pilot run. The pilot run, when it goes up and over Bonneville real early, people are catching fish, and you're looking at, you're like, oh, wow, that was pretty cool. That pilot run was bigger than traditionally what it's been.
Well, Bill, one of the other questions that we got for you as well was about the safe zones down in the lower Columbia where the commercial fleet's actually able to target spring Chinook. The question was, with the conditions that we have, will that push springers into those safe zones that were not intended to go there in the first place?
No. The natural origin, hatchery origin, upriver fish, Willamette stock, those do not just stray into safe zones for any reason. Even if it is dirty water or current or predation, because sea lions will push fish, right?
Sure.
They will actually dive into the deep water of the channels to find refuge. The safe zones, they have their own smolts. They are produced in their own areas. They have pens where they get their deliveries made to. They rear the fish on their own, and those fish return specifically to those zones. And there's never been a legit, at least through what the staff can monitor, there's never been a pit tag, stray, and caught in those. Yeah.
Okay, so Bill, thank you for answering that question because there's been a large concern with that. I got one last thing. I've got 45 seconds left. Make a prediction on what you think the date will be that we'll get back on the Columbia below Bonneville after today.
Probably the 10th. The 10th, maybe 11, 12, 13, but 10 through 13. 4 days is what we're going to try and advocate for. 4 days, but a full weekend is a big deal. And the later we go in April, it's going to get more costly every later day.
Right. because those fish are going to make a move, and it's also going to improve the catch rate, which might get us back off the river quicker. Bill,
100%.
as always, thank you, man. We appreciate you spending a few minutes with us, just sharing some of your insight. And for a lot of you out there that are watching, hopefully this answers a bunch of those questions. Bill, be safe.
Nice.
Good luck. And would you actually land one, man? I'd love to show that photo off. Take care, my friend. Thank you.
Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
See you guys.
All right, we're going to cut to a quick break. When we come back, we're going to wrap things up and kick Bill out of here and send him to Montana. We'll be back in just a minute.